Welcome to Wiser Reads, the channel where we turn powerful books into powerful insights. Book, emoji, light bulb. If you're ready to level up your mind, your money, and your future, you're in the right place. Today's book is Why We Want You to Be Rich, a unique collaboration between two financial giants, Donald Trump, the billionaire businessman, and Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. In this bold and eye-opening read, these two men come together with one urgent message. The middle class is disappearing, and if you want to survive, you need to get smarter about money. But don't worry, this isn't just another motivational speech about working hard or saving more. Trump and Kiyosaki dig deep into the shifting economy, financial education, and why the old advice like go to school, get a job, save money just doesn't work anymore. They challenge you to think rich, act rich, and learn the skills of the wealthy before it's too late. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a student, or someone trying to escape the paycheck-to-paycheck trap, this video is for you. We'll walk you through the key lessons from the book. No fluff, no filler. Just real talk from two men who made it big. So grab your notebook, hit that like button, and let's dive into the strategies that could change your financial future forever. Don't forget to subscribe to Wiser Reads for more book breakdowns that make you wiser one read at a time. Two men, one message. In the opening chapter, Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki explained why two men from very different backgrounds decided to write a book together. Despite their differences, Trump being a real estate mogul and Kiyosaki an educator and investor, they share a deep concern about the future of the middle class. They both believe that the gap between the rich and everyone else is rapidly growing. The old financial advice, get a good job, save money, and retire on a pension, is no longer reliable in today's world. Jobs are disappearing, inflation is rising, and traditional education doesn't teach real financial skills. Trump and Kiyosaki both emphasize that financial education is the key to surviving and thriving in the new economy. They argue that most people are financially vulnerable not because they're lazy, but because they're uninformed. They want readers to think differently about money, not just to work for it, but to make it work for them. Their goal is simple. They want you to be rich, not to show off wealth, but to have freedom, security, and the ability to control your future. This book, they say, isn't about politics or quick fixes. It's about waking up, taking responsibility, and learning how to play the game of money the way the rich do. Two men, one message sets the tone for the rest of the book, a call to action for anyone who wants to escape financial struggle and build lasting wealth through knowledge and smart decisions. Why we want you to be rich. In this powerful chapter, Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki explain the urgent reason behind writing this book. They genuinely want people to be rich, not for luxury or fame, but for security, independence, and control over their lives. They highlight a critical reality. The middle class is shrinking, and the world is dividing into two financial groups, the rich and the poor. With jobs being outsourced, inflation rising, and retirement plans collapsing, most people are unprepared for what's coming. Traditional systems such as school education, pensions, and savings are no longer enough to guarantee a stable future. Trump and Kiyosaki argue that it's no longer safe to rely on job security, government support, or hope. Instead, individuals must take control of their financial destiny through education, entrepreneurship, and investing. They point out that wealth isn't just about money, it's about freedom, confidence, and peace of mind. The authors also stress that the rich are getting richer not because they're smarter, but because they understand how money works. They take calculated risks, build assets, and keep learning, while most people stay stuck in outdated financial habits. Their message is clear. You can choose to be rich, but it starts with changing how you think.
This book is their call to action, to wake up, learn how the economy really works, and prepare for a new financial era.
The rules have changed. In this chapter, Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki explain that the financial and economic landscape we once knew no longer exists. The old rules, like getting a college degree, finding a stable job, and saving money for retirement, don't work anymore. Globalization, technology, and economic shifts have transformed how money flows and how wealth is created. Jobs that were once reliable are disappearing or being outsourced overseas. Pensions and Social Security are becoming less dependable. Inflation is steadily increasing, eroding the value of savings. Simply put, the game has changed, but most people are still playing by yesterday's rules. Trump and Kiyosaki emphasize that if you want to succeed now, you must learn the new rules of money. That means thinking like an investor or entrepreneur, not just an employee. You have to understand assets versus liabilities, how to create passive income, and how to spot opportunities where others see risk. They also warn that governments and traditional institutions are overwhelmed and can't protect your financial future like they used to. This makes it more important than ever for individuals to take control of their own financial education and decisions. The chapter urges readers to adapt quickly and be proactive. Those who embrace the new rules, learning financial literacy, investing smartly, and taking calculated risks will thrive. Those who stick to old habits may face financial struggle. Ultimately, the rules have changed is a wake-up call. It's a challenge to rethink what you've been taught about money and prepare yourself for the new economic reality ahead.
Money is knowledge. In the chapter, Money is Knowledge, Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki stress that financial education is the most valuable asset you can acquire. Unlike traditional schooling, which often teaches theory but not practical money skills, understanding how money works in the real world is crucial to building wealth. The authors argue that money itself is less important than the knowledge about money, how to make it, manage it, and grow it. They explain that the rich focus on acquiring knowledge that allows them to spot opportunities, take calculated risks, and make smart investments. This knowledge creates a cycle. The more you learn about money, the more money you can make, and the more you can invest in learning even further. Trump and Kiyosaki warn that most people are financially vulnerable because they lack this knowledge. They rely on outdated ideas like work hard and save, which no longer work in today's fast-changing economy. Instead, true financial security comes from continuous learning about assets, liabilities, taxes, markets, and how to leverage debt. They also emphasize that financial education isn't about becoming rich overnight. It's about building the mindset and skills to create lasting wealth over time. Knowledge empowers you to control your financial future, avoid common money traps, and adapt to economic changes. The chapter closes with a call to action. Invest time and effort into learning about money. The authors believe that anyone willing to develop financial knowledge can achieve financial freedom and live a richer life.
Learn how to think rich. In the chapter Learn How to Think Rich, Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki emphasize that building wealth begins with changing your mindset. They explain that the way rich people think about money is fundamentally different from most people, and that learning to think rich is a crucial step toward financial success. The authors highlight that many people are trapped in a poor mindset, focusing on security, avoiding risks, and living paycheck to paycheck. In contrast, the rich see money as a tool for creating opportunities, growing assets, and achieving freedom. They embrace risk as part of the journey and focus on long-term wealth, not just short-term income. Trump and Kiyosaki explain that to think rich, you must develop certain habits: learning continuously, being open to new ideas,
and understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. Rich thinkers prioritize acquiring assets that generate passive income, rather than accumulating liabilities that drain money. They also stress the importance of financial education in reshaping your thinking. Without knowledge, it's easy to fall into common money traps or be paralyzed by fear. But with education, you gain confidence to make bold decisions, invest wisely, and build lasting wealth. Ultimately, learn how to think rich is about rewiring your brain to see money as a means to freedom and opportunity. Changing your thinking is the foundation for taking control of your financial future and breaking free from limiting beliefs.
Why the middle class is shrinking. In this chapter, Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki examine the alarming trend of the shrinking middle class and explain the reasons behind it. They highlight how economic changes, globalization, and technology have disrupted traditional jobs and financial stability for many people. The authors point out that many middle-class jobs are disappearing or being outsourced to countries with cheaper labor. At the same time, automation and new technologies are replacing workers, leaving fewer opportunities for steady, well-paying employment. This creates a widening gap between the wealthy and everyone else. Trump and Kiyosaki also emphasize that the rising cost of living, housing, education, healthcare has outpaced wage growth, making it harder for middle-class families to maintain their lifestyle or save for the future. Traditional financial advice, like relying on a pension or Social Security, is no longer sufficient in this changing world. The chapter stresses that financial education is critical for the middle class to survive and thrive. Without understanding how to manage money, invest, and build assets, many risk falling into debt or poverty. Importantly, the authors argue that this isn't just bad luck, it's a structural shift in the economy. The rich are getting richer because they understand and adapt to these changes, while many in the middle class are left behind because they follow outdated rules. Ultimately, why the middle class is shrinking is a wake-up call. Trump and Kiyosaki urge readers to take control of their financial futures by learning new skills, thinking differently about money, and preparing for a new economic reality where financial education and smart investing are essential.
The Decline of America. In The Decline of America, Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki discuss the economic challenges facing the United States and warn that the country's financial future is at risk if current trends continue. They explain that America, once a symbol of prosperity and opportunity, is experiencing a significant decline in economic strength, job security, and financial stability. The authors point to rising national debt, unsustainable government spending, and an over-reliance on printing money as key factors weakening the U.S. economy. These issues contribute to inflation, a weakening dollar, and the loss of global financial dominance. Trump and Kiyosaki caution that without decisive action, Americans will face reduced purchasing power and diminished standards of living. Global competition also plays a role in America's decline. Other countries are growing their economies faster, innovating more aggressively, and attracting jobs that once belonged to the U.S. This shift means fewer opportunities for American workers, especially in traditional industries. Moreover, the authors emphasize that many Americans remain unprepared because they lack financial education. They continue to rely on outdated systems such as pensions and Social Security, which may no longer be viable. The chapter is a call to awareness and action. Trump and Kiyosaki urge readers to understand these economic realities and to take responsibility for their own financial futures. They encourage developing financial intelligence, investing wisely, and preparing for a world where individuals can no longer depend solely on government or employers. Ultimately, the decline of America highlights the urgency of financial education and adaptability as essential tools to protect wealth and thrive despite economic uncertainty.
The retirement crisis. In The Retirement Crisis, Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki warn that the traditional idea of retirement is rapidly becoming obsolete. They explain that millions of people are unprepared for their golden years because the systems they've relied on, pensions, Social Security, and personal savings, are failing or insufficient. The authors highlight several factors contributing to this crisis. First, life expectancy is increasing, meaning retirees need more money to support themselves for a longer time. At the same time, many pension funds and Social Security programs are underfunded and facing financial shortfalls, threatening their ability to pay promised benefits. Additionally, inflation steadily reduces the purchasing power of fixed incomes, making it difficult for retirees to maintain their lifestyle. Meanwhile, traditional savings accounts and bonds offer very low returns, failing to keep pace with rising costs. Trump and Kiyosaki emphasize that the old work hard, save, retire model is no longer realistic for most people. Instead, they argue that financial education and investing are essential to building a secure retirement. They advocate for creating multiple streams of income and focusing on assets that generate passive cash flow, such as real estate and businesses. The chapter urges readers to take control of their financial future now, rather than relying on uncertain government programs or hoping to save enough in a savings account. It's a call to develop financial literacy, understand investment opportunities, and prepare for a retirement that offers true financial freedom. Ultimately, the retirement crisis is a wake-up call to rethink retirement planning, take responsibility, and adopt new strategies to protect yourself from economic uncertainty in your later years.
What happens when the dollar collapses? In this chapter, Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki address a critical financial risk, the potential collapse of the U.S. dollar. They explain that the dollar, long considered the world's primary reserve currency, is under serious threat due to massive national debt, excessive money printing, and declining confidence in the U.S. economy. The authors warn that if the dollar collapses, it will cause widespread economic chaos. Inflation would skyrocket, making everyday goods and services drastically more expensive. Savings held in dollars could lose much of their value, eroding personal wealth. Interest rates could rise sharply, making borrowing more costly and slowing economic growth. Trump and Kiyosaki emphasized that the ripple effects would not be limited to the U.S. Because the dollar is central to global trade, a collapse would disrupt international markets and hurt economies worldwide. They also stressed that this scenario is not far-fetched. Governments worldwide are searching for alternatives to the dollar, and the U.S.'s growing debt makes it increasingly vulnerable. The current financial system, they argue, is fragile and unsustainable. The chapter serves as a warning that individuals cannot rely solely on the dollar or traditional savings to secure their financial future. Instead, they should diversify their assets, invest in tangible assets like real estate, precious metals, and businesses, and gain financial education to protect against currency risks. Ultimately, what happens when the dollar collapses is a call to action to prepare for economic uncertainty by understanding the risks and taking steps to safeguard wealth before a potential crisis unfolds.
A world of debt. In the chapter A World of Debt, Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki explore the enormous and growing problem of global debt and its implications for the economy and individuals. They explain that both governments and individuals around the world are borrowing at unprecedented levels, creating a fragile financial system that is vulnerable to collapse. The authors highlight how massive national debts, fueled by continuous government spending and low interest rates, are masking serious economic problems rather than solving them. This debt accumulation leads to inflation, reduces the value of currencies, and increases the risk of financial crises. Trump and Kiyosaki stress that ordinary people often don't realize how deeply debt affects their daily lives. Many families carry heavy personal debt, credit cards, mortgages, and loans, which can trap them in a cycle of payments that limits their ability to build wealth. They also explain that debt can be both a tool and a trap. While the wealthy use debt strategically to leverage investments and grow assets, most people fall into the trap of bad debt, which drains their finances. The chapter warns that the current global debt situation is unsustainable. Governments may eventually face defaults or inflationary pressures that can wipe out savings and investments. For individuals, relying on borrowing without financial education is risky. Ultimately, a world of debt calls for a new approach, learning how to manage and use debt wisely, focusing on financial education, and building assets that generate real income. Trump and Kiyosaki urge readers to understand the power and danger of debt, to protect themselves and create lasting financial security.
The power of financial education. In The Power of Financial Education, Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki emphasized that financial education is the key to achieving lasting wealth and financial independence. They argue that without a solid understanding of money, investing, and the economy, most people will struggle financially, regardless of how much they earn. The authors point out that traditional education systems often neglect practical money skills. Schools teach many valuable subjects, but they rarely teach students how to manage money, create assets, or build passive income. This lack of financial knowledge leaves many people vulnerable to debt, poor investments, and economic downturns. Trump and Kiyosaki explain that the rich prioritize financial education. They continuously learn about markets, tax laws, investment strategies, and money management. This knowledge allows them to make informed decisions, minimize risks, and seize opportunities that others miss. The chapter also stresses that financial education is not a one-time event, but a lifelong process. The economy and financial tools constantly evolve, so staying informed is essential to protect and grow wealth. Moreover, the authors emphasize that financial education empowers individuals to break free from the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. It gives people the confidence to start businesses, invest wisely, and create multiple streams of income. Ultimately, the power of financial education is a call to action. Trump and Kiyosaki encourage readers to take control of their financial future by investing time and effort into learning about money. With the right knowledge, anyone can build wealth, achieve financial freedom, and live a richer, more secure life. You can choose to be rich. In the chapter, You Can Choose to Be Rich, Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki empower readers with a powerful message. Wealth is not just for the lucky or the privileged. It's a choice that anyone can make. The authors emphasize that becoming rich starts with a decision and a commitment to take control of your financial future. They challenge the common belief that success is predetermined by background, education, or luck. Instead, they argue that mindset, knowledge, and action are the true drivers of wealth. People who become rich think differently. They see opportunities where others see obstacles, and they are willing to take calculated risks to grow their financial position. Trump and Kiyosaki stress the importance of financial education, disciplined habits, and perseverance. They encourage readers to break free from limiting beliefs, overcome fear, and learn the skills needed to build assets that generate passive income. The chapter highlights that no matter where you start, you can change your financial destiny by making better choices, investing wisely, and continuously learning. Wealth is a journey, not an instant achievement,
and requires patience and commitment. Moreover, the authors point out that choosing to be rich is not about greed or materialism, it's about gaining financial freedom, security, and the ability to live life on your own terms. Ultimately, You Can Choose to Be Rich is an inspiring call to action. It reminds readers that the power to change their financial lives lies within themselves. By making conscious decisions and adopting the right mindset, anyone can create lasting wealth and a brighter financial future.
Don't be a victim. In the chapter Don't Be a Victim, Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki urge readers to take responsibility for their financial lives and avoid falling into a victim mindset. They stress that many people feel powerless in the face of economic challenges, government policies, or market changes. But this mindset only leads to missed opportunities and financial struggle. The authors argue that blaming outside forces or waiting for help won't solve financial problems. Instead, they encourage a proactive approach, educating yourself, adapting to change, and making bold decisions. They emphasize that while the economy may be uncertain, individuals can control how they respond. Trump and Kiyosaki warn against the dangers of complacency and fear. They explain that those who refuse to learn or take risks often remain stuck in debt, low-paying jobs, or financial dependency. By contrast, those who take charge and think like investors or entrepreneurs build wealth over time. The chapter also highlights the importance of resilience. Setbacks and failures are part of the journey, but they don't have to define your financial future. Learning from mistakes and persisting through challenges is key to success. Ultimately, Don't Be a Victim is a call to mental strength and empowerment. The authors want readers to understand that financial freedom is possible, but it requires action, courage, and a willingness to break free from limiting beliefs. They encourage readers to stop seeing themselves as victims of circumstance and start seeing themselves as creators of their own financial destiny.
What You Can Do Today. In the chapter What You Can Do Today, Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki provide practical, actionable advice for readers ready to take control of their financial future immediately. They emphasize that waiting for the right time or for external conditions to improve is a mistake. The best time to start building wealth is now. The authors urge readers to begin by improving their financial education. Learning about money, investing, and business is the foundation of all financial success. They recommend reading books, attending seminars, and surrounding yourself with knowledgeable people who can mentor and inspire you. Trump and Kiyosaki also highlight the importance of changing your mindset, from thinking like an employee who works for money to thinking like an investor or entrepreneur who makes money work for them. This shift opens the door to new opportunities and smarter decisions. The chapter encourages taking small, consistent steps to build assets and reduce liabilities. This might include starting a side business, investing in real estate, we're saving to invest rather than spend. They stress that wealth building is a journey that requires patience and discipline. They also advise readers to take calculated risks and not be paralyzed by fear of failure. Learning from mistakes and adapting quickly is part of the process. Finally, the authors remind readers that financial freedom is a choice, and it requires commitment and action. Every day is a new opportunity to make decisions that bring you closer to your goals. What you can do today is a motivating call to start now, no matter your current situation, and take control of your financial destiny through knowledge, mindset, and action.
Final thoughts. In the Final Thoughts chapter, Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki wrap up their urgent message about financial empowerment and the changing economic landscape. They remind readers that the traditional path to financial security, working hard, saving money, and relying on pensions or Social Security, is no longer dependable in today's world.
The authors emphasize that the key to financial success lies in taking control through education, mindset, and action. They urge readers to embrace financial literacy, develop a rich mindset, and commit to lifelong learning about money, investing, and wealth building. Trump and Kiyosaki stress that while the economic challenges ahead may seem daunting, they also present unprecedented opportunities for those prepared to adapt. The rich are not necessarily luckier, but they are better informed and more willing to take risks. They encourage readers to stop being passive participants in the economy and instead become active players who create opportunities. This involves changing limiting beliefs, overcoming fear, and making bold financial decisions. The authors also remind readers that wealth is not just about money. It's about freedom, security, and having the ability to live life on your own terms. Becoming rich is about building a legacy and creating a better future for yourself and your family. Ultimately, Final Thoughts is a motivational call to action. The power to shape your financial destiny is in your hands. By committing to financial education and taking consistent, informed steps, anyone can build lasting wealth despite economic uncertainties. The chapter closes with hope and encouragement. Now is the time to act, learn, and grow toward financial freedom.
Thank you for joining me on Wiser Reads as we explored Why We Want You to Be Rich by Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki. This book delivers a powerful message. Financial freedom is possible for everyone, but it starts with changing how you think about money, investing in your financial education, and taking control of your future. Trump and Kiyosaki show us that the old rules about work, savings, and retirement no longer apply in today's economy. Instead, we need to learn how to make money work for us by building assets, embracing risks, and continuously growing our knowledge. The shrinking middle class and economic challenges may seem daunting, but with the right mindset and education, you can navigate this new landscape and create lasting wealth. If you found value in this summary and want to keep growing wiser, don't forget to subscribe to Wiser Reads. Here, we break down the most impactful books to help you level up your mind, your finances, and your life, one read at a time. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and leave a comment with your thoughts or what book you want us to cover next. See you in the next video.